guys, hi. Here we are. Sorry, my voice cracked. Hello guys, here we are back with another video. I am super excited to share with you guys what the Lord has placed in my heart to talk about this week. So yes, I hope you guys have been watching my videos. I hope you guys are being encouraged, and I pray that you guys will continue along with this journey with me. So yeah, all right, but anyway, let's get into the video. Okay, so today what I want to talk to you guys about is trusting God even when it doesn't make sense. I know, like, you know, whenever we first become a Christian, that's something we hear a lot, right? It's become almost cliche. Trust God, you just have to trust God. Oh, when something, you know, doesn't happen the way that we expect, it's like, oh, you just gotta trust God, you know. And I think that's like one thing that like believers we like to go to, you know. Sometimes that's always not the case. Sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it's not natural. And so that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, and kind of you know, share with you guys the journey that I've been on these past few months. So I'm just gonna share personal testimony of how God has literally like called me to do the unexpected. He's called me to do, you know, what I didn't think I would ever do, but here we are. So fast forward to last year, I am a senior, about to finish up my undergrad degree in ICD. I almost forgot. In ICD. Which stands for International Community Development. And so during that last semester, right before graduation, I was like, I kind of like looked at myself and I was like, Victoria, like, what are you gonna do once you graduate? And like, I had never really like thought about that until like, I was like, oh gosh, graduation's like right around the corner. You need to start thinking about plans for post-graduation life. And so I prayed about it. And what the Lord told me was definitely not probably the last thing I wanted to do on my list, let's just say that. And so basically, after I prayed about it, God made it pretty clear to me that he wanted me to continue on with school and get my master's in business, which granted, y'all, like I came in freshman year as a business student, and all it took was one accounting class that like it got me out of that department real quick. And I'm not even kidding, y'all. Like literally, I think it was like the first or the second, no, it was the second semester I switched my major. I was like, you know what, this business life is just not for me. You know, I mean, now that I think about it, like I love business, and like I think that's what I want to do. After I graduate with my master's, I want to start my own social business. But at the time, like these classes, they're trying to kick my butt. And so I literally switched my major freshman year. But anyway, so I switched my major, and so I ended up graduating with my undergraduate degree in international community development. And then, you know, after I graduated, the Lord, he instructed me to go get your master's in business. I was like, okay then. And so that's what I'm currently doing. Looking back on it, like I think that this is the best route to go. For what I want to do in the future, I truly believe like I was supposed to get my undergrad at ICD and then go ahead and get my master's in business. And I feel like just the road that the Lord is leading me to in like post-master's life, if that's even a thing, I feel like it all worked out. And it's like, you know, it makes sense now, even though it didn't really. So before I go to my mission trip to Atlanta, the Lord, he showed me a vision. And in this vision, I saw an empty apartment with one bag. And the Lord said, he said, Victoria, when you come back after this trip, you're gonna have to start from ground zero. And I was like, that was a little in my face, y'all. Like, I didn't know what that meant, but I was just like, okay, God, whatever you say. I was like, oh goodness. But so that's what he told me. When you come back from this trip, you're starting from ground zero. And man, was he right. So I ended up coming back to Tulsa, and granted, like, this is right after graduation. So I basically packed up my entire dorm room and I packed it all up in my car, which was in Tulsa. And I know I talked about this briefly in another video, but if you haven't watched that video, basically my car gets broken into while I'm in Atlanta, and pretty much all my stuff was in my car. And so I was just like, okay, God, you said it, and you definitely did it, right? And then a few months after that, which I have a whole video about it, you guys got to go check it out. I'll probably link it if I figure out how to do that. I'll link it in this video. And how God just miraculously, got me a new car after my car had broken down. A few months after it got broken into, it broke down, and I was like, we definitely had to start from scratch there. And so I ended up getting a brand new car, which God blessed me with. And yeah, honestly, that was definitely a plus. That was definitely a plus. I'm not complaining about that part. I'm not complaining about that part, okay? Anyway, so after all that had happened, by this time I have already basically like picked out my apartment, everything. I was just all we were waiting on is like move-in day. My apartment, everything was set. But literally, guys, so literally a week before I was supposed to move into this apartment, my boss, he comes to me. Basically, he told me that we don't have enough work for you to continue full-time because it's a small business. And I was like, and he basically told me like, yeah, like, I know you're moving to Tulsa and everything, but you're basically gonna have to find another job because that job no longer was able to support me. And so I was just like, honestly, in my head, I'm thinking perfect timing. I'm about to move into my very own apartment. This is my first apartment, first time living on my own, and I literally have to find a job within 1 week of moving to this apartment. And so that was definitely fun times, right? And so that was just one of the many things. Like, I just had to trust God. I was like, okay, God, like, I know I'm supposed to be here in Tulsa. I'm supposed to be getting my master's degree. I know, like, this is what you told me to do. However, I did not anticipate, all these series of events happening prior, right? And so after that, I start like immediately. Like, I think literally within an hour after he told me that, I was on and like just applying for like all these jobs. I was literally like, I was determined. I said, like, honey, I went to it, you know what I'm saying? I started applying for like so many different jobs. I updated my resume. Like, I was going hard in the paint, right? Woo, shout out to March Madness. Anyway, so after that had happened, I began praying. I said, okay, Holy Spirit, show me, like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what kind of job? Like, where am I supposed to be now, in grad school? And so I was applying for all these jobs. I wasn't getting any responses back, and I had a dream. And it was like I have dreams pretty regularly. And this dream, it was very, like, this is a normal dream. Like, it was like nothing out of the ordinary, really. so in this dream, I was just going around about everyday life. Just, it was very normal, very ordinary day. However, the one thing that stuck out to me in this dream was there was a little blonde boy following me around everywhere. I was just like, okay, this is kind of weird. I don't know why this little boy is following me around everywhere. And I knew, like, in the dream, like, I had to take care of him. I had to watch him. I had to feed him. Like, I had to do all these things. And like, me naturally, you know, being a type 3, you know, wing, leaning to my 2 side, I like helping people out. So it was not a big deal. Like, and plus I love, you know, little kids. And so I was like, okay, this is a cool dream. I don't know why I'm taking care of this little blonde boy, but I'm not complaining. And so so I wake up that morning, I was like, that was weird. But then I started thinking, I said, God, what did that dream mean? And granted, during this entire process, right, these past few days, I've been praying. And I've really been praying and asking the Lord to show me what direction he wants for me to go in regards to, like, work. And so basically after that dream, I was like, maybe God is wanting me to be a nanny. Like, I don't know, like, and like I was a babysitter, you know, during you know, here and there, you know, whenever I come back home for a break or whatever, like, I would babysit kids, and I would, you know, I would watch kids, you know, growing up pretty much, and I enjoyed it because I love little kids, right? So it wasn't ever a bother. And so I immediately went on care.com, started applying for these different nannying positions and everything that would fit my schedule and everything. And so I ended up moving into my apartment in Tulsa, which, you know, I was still able to move forward and moving in to this apartment because I had saved up, you know, I had some money saved up. And so I wasn't like overly stressed about finances at that point. I was more so focused on, like, getting moved in and everything and learning the ins and outs of living in an apartment because I've never done it before. So I knew, like, I had a little bit of leeway, a little bit of time to find a job. However, I was still, like, searching for work, right? And so I would do, like, different things, making money here and there, like DoorDash, just like I would get like little like babysitting gigs here and there. Nothing really, like, nothing that would be able to sustain me, basically living in this apartment long term. And so I just continued to, like, apply for different jobs and positions, you know, meeting different families, seeing, like, what worked out, what you know, was good fit for me, what wasn't a good fit. And that, it literally took me 7 weeks, y'all. It took me 7 weeks before I actually had a consistent income after moving into my very first apartment, right? And so granted, I find this family, you know, and everything seemed to work out perfectly fine. And so basically I reached out to this family, right? I messaged her, I was like, hey, like, I'm available, da 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 da. And we basically started talking, going back and forth. She's like, hey, like, I think you could be a good fit. Could you, like, come out and meet the kids? I was like, okay, sure. You know, so I drove down there. Right, one Sunday after church, I drove down there, I met the kids, and I had so much peace, like, regarding this, you know, this family. And as I am driving to their house, I see all sorts of, like, road signs that, like, are, like, very familiar to me. Like, the one street that I like turned on to go to their house was called Albany Street. I was like, Albany Street? I was like, okay, that's where my, you know, Albany, New York is where, like, I have a bunch of family who live there. I was like, okay, Albany Street. And then I find this another street. We turn, it's like 223rd Street. And I was like, okay, 223, that's my sister's birthday. And so, like, literally during this entire drive there, I'm like looking at like just road signs. I'm like, wait a minute, this like, it was just like a sign to me that I felt like I was at the right place. I walk into their home, and there the two boys were, and they were blonde. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is exactly my dream. And I was like, okay, like I think I'm at the right place. I think this is the right family for me, right? And so yeah, so currently it's been like 6 months now. I've been a nanny for these for this family, and it has been, I would say, a pretty darn good fit. And so that's a little testimony that I want to share with you guys. I'm trying to look at the time. Okay. Where am I at currently in this process? So currently, as you guys know, like I talked about it in previous videos, that the Lord had really placed in my heart to start a YouTube channel. And so I actually started this channel right before I came to Tulsa. And funny story is that right before I ended up coming to Tulsa, you know, I got my car, a new car and everything, but the license plate, that didn't come until like a month or two later after, you know, I'd gotten the vehicle. And so literally a few days right before I left for Tulsa, I, you know, pulled out my license plate and it said PTM. And then my sister looked at it, she's like, oh, PTM, perfect timing. I was like, perfect timing. I was like, oh, perfect timing. And so I thought that was really cool and interesting. And then so I looked up the remaining four numbers, and it was, without trying to give out my driver's license plate number, I looked it up, and it was literally the same exact numbers of a John Deere tractor. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I thought that that was so mind-blowing, because it was almost as if the Lord was telling me, Victoria, like as I was about to leave for Tulsa, the Lord was telling me, like, Victoria, I am sending you out into the harvest fields. He's saying, and you will move, you will operate out of my perfect timing. And I was just like, oh my goodness, God, like this is so amazing. And so I just think that is one of the reasons why God has instructed me to start this channel, because one thing that the Lord had showed me, what he had told me, like that through this channel, what I saw is I saw people coming on my channel who like weren't even Christians. Like I know like a lot of the videos that I do are kind of meant for Christians, but what I really feel like, you know, what the Lord is calling me to do is like gather people who don't even know the Lord, who have yet to hear his voice, who have yet to follow God or to trust him. And so in this vision, like the Lord literally showed me people who literally just stumbled upon my page. They, you know, they aren't Christians, they don't go to church, they don't know anything about this kind of lifestyle, you know, that I live. And just hearing these words and these testimonies of what God is doing in my life, and I truly believe like God, you know, me doing this channel and everything, God is calling me to the harvest field. And I believe like this is what he's calling me to do right now in this season, and why I feel like it is so important for me to, you know, not only be consistent, you know, in uploading videos, but also just like in just being open and sharing my faith, and just constantly like encouraging other people to continue, you know, their journey, you know, with the Lord. And so that's what I really wanted to talk to you guys about, because so I basically told you guys all that, like I went through, you know, the past year of my life, and how through, you know, every single like part in that testimony that I shared with you guys, you know, I had to consciously trust God through every single stage in my life, even when it didn't make sense, right? Because I was like, me going on a mission trip to Atlanta, I was like, God, like, I'm surrendering my life to you, like, I'm serving you, like, I'm doing what, you know, quote, quote, what a good Christian, you know, should be doing. And it was like, but now you're gonna take everything away from me? Like, that really, it didn't make sense, right? I'm walking by faith, right? Going to grad school, you know, getting my own apartment, doing all these things, but I lose my job right before all this stuff happens. And it's so, I just want, those are just things that like I've really been like, you know, remembering, you know, this past year and what I had to go through in order to get to where I am now. And I can honestly truly say, like, in this season of my life, like, I have never had so much peace. I've never had so much joy. I share all of that with you guys to let y'all know, like, trusting God, it doesn't always make sense. You know, in the spiritual world, 1 + 2 doesn't always equals 3. You know, maybe it's like accounting, for example. It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense, okay? Sorry, professor, if you're watching this. Okay, we may cut that out. But I can honestly say, like, even though like I had to go through all these series of what seems like unfortunate events, I can truly say, like, I've never like had so much peace. I've never had so much joy. And I feel like in this season of my life, I look at my life now and I'm just overwhelmed by the goodness of God. You know, if someone would have told me a year ago what my life would be like now, I probably wouldn't believe them. I would probably be like, you're crazy, okay, and you need some help. But anyway, like, honestly, y'all, like, I literally walk around my apartment. You know, I get in my car and I go to work and I go to school and I'm doing all these things that I love and all these things that I enjoy. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, this is what happens when we trust God. This is what happens when we allow him to direct our steps. This is what happens when we surrender and we submit our lives to him. And even though like this was a crazy past few months, honestly, like these past few months, this past year has just been so unpredictable. You know, nothing has been consistent. Like, so many changes, right? So many changes have occurred during this past 2 years, let alone past year. And so I can truly say, like, it will make all the difference to trust God, even when it doesn't make sense, even when he leads you down an unexpected road, or even though it may seem like you're at a dead end. I can truly say, and I can testify, that trusting God will make all the difference, and he ultimately will lead you right where you're supposed to be. So if you don't take anything from this video, you know what? Heck, if you made it towards the end of this video, this is what I want to say to you. I want to say, like, even when it doesn't make sense, oh, I just had a little accent that I don't even know of just came out. So I just want to leave you guys with this, like, his plan is always better. God's plan is always better. And even when it doesn't make sense, it's so important to trust God, to trust the process, to trust the path that he's leading you on. Because, you know, the Bible says that he will never leave us nor forsake us. So we know that we can trust him to lead us, to guide us, to direct our steps. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I thank you guys so much for watching these videos. Yeah, and I really thank you guys for your encouraging words. And yeah, because it really means a lot to me. You know, it really does mean a lot to me because I enjoy the encouragement. I think we all like encouragement, me especially. So thank you guys so much for watching these videos. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for keeping up with me and these little talks, or these, you know, these little things, that these little nuggets that God, he gives me. I really do, before I start every video, like, I pray. And I don't just want to like come up here, just say anything, or just, you know, pull something out of my butt. But I really do take the time to pray into these videos. I take the time to pray before, I take the time to pray after. I take the time to really allow the Holy Spirit to lead me in the direction that he wants me to go for each and every video. So it really does mean a lot that you know, that people are, you know, receiving something, they're benefiting from these videos, because I know, like, I know I am. This is a different avenue for me. This is something I've never done before. But I just thank you guys for riding along on this journey with me, and I really do hope that you guys are blessed through these videos. I really do pray that. And yeah, and even if like it's one person, if one person gets something from these videos, it will be worth it. So yeah, I'm not doing it for everybody. I'm doing it for that one person who stumbles upon this video. I'm doing it for that one person who needs to know their love, that one person who needs to know that, like, God will never disappoint you. God will never lead you astray. God will never leave you. He will never forsake you. And so this is why I'm making these videos. Even if one person benefits from it, I'll do it for the one. And I'll continue to do it for the one. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.